Hi, everybody. Welcome to The Locker Room, our weekly podcast where we promote the kids in our Bayou Region on the high school level. I'm Stan Grava, along with me, Dustin Robichaud, who is right behind the camera right there, produces the show, puts everything together. How are you, my friend?
Good. Weather's been up and down, all right?
The weather has been up and down. That's what you get in Louisiana. For the soccer kids, it's been quite good as this weekend the soccer playoffs began. We'll talk a little bit about that. We also have Bobby Arceneaux coming in a little bit later. He's going to talk about where our softball girls are at. And what I mean by that is we have really good softball programs in our area. A lot of these young ladies have the opportunity to play at the collegiate level. Bobby sort of tracks them. It's a nice little piece. To be transparent, little bit of a abbreviated show today. We are going out this morning here at Terrebonne General to interview our students of the month. Those students of the month are both on the academic side and on the athletic side. We have our outstanding scholar, our distinguished athlete. Dustin is very much a part of that, and we're going to spend the day doing that. We usually don't do it on Mondays. It's a little bit odd. But we had snow a couple of weeks ago, so everything was thrown out the window. We started getting caught up a little bit, so we will be doing that a lot of the day today. But we do have some sporting news certainly to bring to you. Before we get to the soccer update, remember, we would love for you to subscribe to our weekly podcast we drop every Monday. You can do that if you are on YouTube by simply going down below the video that you're looking at, if you happen to be looking at the video. And there is a subscribe button and a like button, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yep. And you can also do that if you're on Spotify, where you can sort of like us and subscribe, and you will get weekly notifications as to when we drop. So we would hope that you might do that. We also have chapter marks. So if you want to get to a certain part of our podcast, you could certainly go to the chapter marks and click on that if you're looking to get to something really quick. I mentioned soccer. Soccer started playoffs this week. We want to get you caught up. Casey and I talked a little bit about it last week. So just to get you caught up what happened over the weekend and on Friday, unfortunately in Division I boys, we have nobody moving on. Terrebonne and HL Bourgeois were both in the playoffs. Terrebonne, the number 32 seed, had to go up and play the number 1 seed, Denham Springs. They got smacked pretty good, 8-0. Doesn't take anything away from a really good year that Terrebonne's boys have had. HL Bourgeois was the number 18 seed. They had to travel all the way to Shreveport to take on Bird, and they lost 3-2. A heartbreaker. Unfortunately, HL Bourgeois season is over. Day 2 had a terrific season. In Division II boys, Allender, the number 24 seed, had to travel to Baton Rouge to take on Tara. They lost that one 6-0. Central Lafourche is the team in our area, both boys and girls, that we certainly are going to keep a close eye on. The number 4 seeded boys from Central Lafourche defeated Liberty 6-0, so they had a strong showing. They will be taking on Sam Houston, the number 13 seed, on Wednesday at Trojan Stadium. So if you have the opportunity, get out and support Central Lafourche. Their boys program has been strong all year, along with their girls program. We'll talk about them in just a little while. South Terrebonne was a 22 seed. They had to take on number 11, Ben Franklin, who is a traditional power. They go up to New Orleans and give Ben Franklin all they can handle. Final score, Ben Franklin 3, South Terrebonne 2. So South Terrebonne is out. And finally, number 2 seeded Holy Cross had to take on the Tarpons of South Lafourche. That game played in New Orleans. Holy Cross just too good. They win it 8-0. So our only team in Division II boys that is advancing, Central Lafourche. Again, they play on Wednesday. In Division III, we have 2 boys teams that advance. We only had 2 that were in the playoffs. Unfortunately, they're going to be playing each other in the second round. E.D. White took on Haynes, defeated Haynes 2-0. Vanderbilt took on Leesville, defeated Leesville 5-0. Now E.D. White is taking on Vanderbilt Wednesday, 7 o'clock at E.D. White. That ought to be a big one. And obviously, we know what kind of rivalry those 2 schools have. And finally, in Division IV, CCA defeated Homer Christian, speaking of 2 rival schools, and they just happened to have to play in the first round. Final score of that one, 4-0. CCA now has to take on Sarah Reed. I don't think they're going to have any problems with Sarah Reed. Their big game is going to be against Ascension Episcopal out of Lafayette, and that'll be in the next round. So look for CCA to advance. So just recapping the boys. 4 of our teams are advancing. Central Lafourche, Vanderbilt, E.D. White, Covenant Christian Academy. We wish them all the best of luck. Now, let's move on to the girls' side of things. And just to make it sort of even along the way, the girls had about the same number of teams that were involved in the playoffs. So let's look at Division I girls first. Thibodaux, a big winner. They were the 13th seed, had to play Alexandria and Thibodaux on Saturday. They win it 2-0. Now they got to take on Mount Carmel, who is really good. Mount Carmel is the number 4 seed, and they blasted H.L. Bourgeois 8-0 in the first round. H.L. Bourgeois had a good season. Unfortunately, they just ran into a buzzsaw. So it'll be Thibodaux against Mount Carmel. No time set for that one yet. Unfortunately for Terrebonne's girls, they also took on Denham Springs, but Denham Springs got the best of them 4-2. So Denham Springs moves on. One team in Division I girls for us in our area, and that's Thibodaux High, moving on. Now, let's look at Division II. South Terrebonne girls, big winners over Livonia. And when I say big, it was 16 against 17. So a very tightly contested game, right? They win it 1-0. That game played in Berg. Now they will move on, the Lady Gators will, to take on number 1 seeded St. Thomas More in Lafayette. Not going to be easy for the Lady Gators. Number 5, Central Lafourche, defeated with no problem Beauchamp 8-0. So the girls and boys from Central Lafourche are really playing well. The girls also are going to play at Trojan Stadium on Wednesday. They play at 4. So if you are a fan of Central Lafourche, you get to watch the girls play at 4, then the boys play immediately after in the second round of the playoffs. That's good stuff. That's about as good as it gets. So congratulations to the Trojans. In Division III, Vanderbilt's girls move on. They win easily over Bossier. The final score was 8-0. They will be taking on Ursuline, and that's going to be a good one. Ursuline, the 11 seed. So Vanderbilt's still going to be at home, but Ursuline is a good soccer program. E.D. White, also a big winner. They defeated Morgan City 13-0. I don't know what you know about soccer, Dustin, but 13-0 equates, if you put it in a football score, to about 113-0.
That's crazy.
That is crazy. They will be moving on to take on number 10, St. Michael. That will be in Thibodaux on Wednesday at 5 o'clock. So at Pelche Stadium, the Lady Cardinals will be taking on St. Michael, the number 10 seed, St. Michael. And unfortunately, in Division IV, we have nobody advancing. CCA lost to Country Day 7-1. Homer Christian lost to Episcopal of Acadiana 6-2. So nobody moving on. So just to recap the girls: Thibodaux moving on, South Terrebonne moving on, Central Lafourche moving on, Vanderbilt moving on, E.D. White moving on. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our local teams in girls action moving on. We'll make sure that we let you know what happens with that. Unfortunately, Casey not going to be with us this week just because of logistics and us getting out to the schools to do these student interviews. But next week, we'll have a better understanding of who has a big chance of getting to the finals in soccer. So we're going to get you caught up with that. And it'll also be time to start talking about basketball playoffs. 2 more weeks of basketball season left, and then we start finding out about the basketball pairings. So we're getting to that time where our winter sports are sort of coming to a close as we head into playoff season. As I mentioned earlier, we're very fortunate on this show. Bobby Arceneaux reached out to some of the softball parents in the area and got a little bit of an insight as to what the girls are doing in the collegiate level. So here's Bobby talking a little bit about who's doing what and what we might look out for as far as collegiate softball with our Bayou Region players this upcoming year.
Well, we're going to preview some girls right now who are playing college softball from the Homer Thibodaux area and Central Lafourche, South Lafourche. And in the past, I tell you what, our girls' high school softball has been very successful. Going back into the 90s when Vanderbilt had that great run in the 80s and the 90s, H.L. Bourgeois, South Terrebonne, all would make it to the state finals a lot of times. Bourgeois winning some state championships along with Vanderbilt, South Terrebonne in the finals one year when Bourgeois and South Terrebonne played each other. So our girls softball in this area is very good. And here showing these players who advanced to the college ranks shows, why softball is very good in this area, and the girls who have advanced to play college, it is paying off. Cameron Becknell, she was E.D. White product. Now she's at Northwestern State up in Natchitoches. She's going to be a freshman utility player. At E.D. White, she was two-sport E.D. White first team all-district player while she was there. Mackenzie Champagne, Central Lafourche product at Nicholls State. She's a grad student right now at Nicholls. She's an outfielder, played 22 games last year. In fact, started 22 games. Was the SLC Hitter of the Week one of the weeks, and Nicholls is really looking forward to her being a productive player for them this year. Peyton Domain, CCA product, now playing at John Melvin. She's a freshman this year also. Not sure where she'll be playing. She'll probably play in multiple positions out there at John Melvin, but they're looking forward for her to be a productive player for them. Kiara Evans from H.L. Bourgeois, now at Xavier. Xavier, a new program really in softball and baseball, so she's on the ground floor at Xavier's program. She's a senior this year. She's an outfielder. She's also a biology and pre-med major, so pretty nice to put those two combinations in with playing athletics in college. Haley Henry from Homer Christian at Northwest Florida. She's a freshman this year. She'll be a catcher and an outfielder at Northwest Florida. Highlight for Haley last week in their first game, she had a home run to lead her college career off. Charlotte Lottinger from CCA at Coastal Alabama. She'll be a freshman this year. Their first game is coming up pretty soon, so they'll be kicking their season off. She'll probably be an infielder over there at Coastal Alabama. Alyssa Nakan, Thibodeau High product at Nicholls State. She'll be a freshman this year, be a utility player playing multiple positions, and Nicholls is hoping for her to be a nice contributor for them this year. Destiny Pierce, another Homer Christian product at Spring Hill College, very good college for girls softball. She'll be a freshman this year and a utility player. She was our Bayou Region Player of the Year last year. Destiny, a very good softball, multi-purpose athlete, and I'm sure they're looking for her to be a really good player for them this year. Blakeland Pitts, Terrebonne High product at Southwest Tennessee Community College. She's a sophomore this year. Blakeland played second base, had 125 plate appearances last year, and batted .294. So Blakeland's right in the mix over there, and it gets plenty of playing time. Corinne Talbot, Vanderbilt product at Southwest Mississippi Community College. She's a freshman this year. She's a middle infielder, very good stick, and hits the ball very well. Also, she was the MVP in the state championship game as Vanderbilt won state last year. So we look for Corinne to get a lot of playing time this year. Mallory Thibodeau of Vanderbilt at Holmes Community College. Mallory is a freshman this year, and she'll be playing some outfield for Holmes Community College. Jaden Yesso, another Homer Christian product. She's at LSU Eunice. She's a freshman, an infielder. She's another girl that comes off that state championship final team for Homer Christian, which produced a lot of good ball players this year. So I'm sure LSU Eunice is looking for her to be a big contributor. Okay, this is our 12 girls who from this area who are playing college softball. What we're going to do is let them get their season started, let them get some games in. Maybe midway through their season, we're going to come back with a recap and kind of tell you how they doing at their schools, batting averages, if they're pitching, whatever's going on. We're going to give you a recap of how they're progressing at the schools they're at. So good luck to all these girls, and we'll see you later.
Thanks to Bobby for doing that. He enjoys obviously promoting the kids in the area, and periodically we'll have him on doing those things where softball, baseball, all of our kids who are playing on the collegiate level, we are happy to be there. As a matter of fact, this Wednesday I'm going out to a couple of signings, and I always enjoy doing that. Next week, Ought to be an interesting show, folks. We have all of the baseball and softball coaches coming in for our countdown to first pitch, which is obviously soon for baseball and softball. So all of our Bayou Region coaches, all 22 of them, baseball and softball, will be here with us at Terrebonne General this upcoming Friday. We do different stories with them. It's for our podcast, but it's also in general for our media in the area, right? HTV, Bayou Sports, all the guys who do the radio broadcasts in the area. So we're going to pass that on to them. We always have a good time doing it. It's a different format now where basically I just interview each of them and then they have camaraderie with each other in the back of the room. We hope it doesn't get too loud in the back of the room because they have a lot of fun when we do it. But we'll do that this Friday and we hope to incorporate that in our podcast next week. Not only that, we'll open it up probably talking to Casey just a little bit about these playoff scenarios and then we'll get to our different situations related to who's playing who in baseball, because that's right around the corner. We started that really early in the state of Louisiana. It's not long before we're going to be talking about track and field and golf and tennis and all those other sports that really get in the swing in the spring. So we hope that you tune in next week. And unless you got something else that I'm missing, I think we're pretty good shape.
I think you got it all, Stan. The year is flying by. We're already in February. It's
unbelievable. Flying by. I enjoy doing this every Monday where we talk about a little bit to you guys who have subscribed. Thank you very much. It's just a way of getting a weekly report out on our Bayou Region kids, and we love doing it so much. So with that being said, hope you have a terrific week. Go out, support our soccer teams that are still playing. Go out, catch a couple of basketball games. And you know what? This weekend, start going out to jamborees for baseball and softball and supporting those kids also. That's it for us. We'll be back next week with a new podcast. Hope you're here with us. Take care, everybody.